The floorboards groaned under a creeping draught, each creak echoing through the desolate hallway like a whisper of forgotten secrets. Moonlight spilled through the grimy window panes, casting long, ghostly shadows that seemed to dance with a life of their own. Illuminating dust motes dancing in the stillness, the moonlight gave the room an ethereal glow, as if time itself had paused to watch. Outside, the night was alive with the chirping of crickets, their song a haunting melody that filled the air with an eerie sense of calm. And the distant barking of a dog added to the symphony of the night, a reminder of life beyond the shadows. Inside, a sense of unease hung heavy in the air, as if the very walls were whispering tales of sorrow and despair. At the foot of the old oak door lay a single charred envelope, its presence a stark contrast to the otherwise mundane surroundings. Its edges were singed, as if plucked from the jaws of a fire, hinting at a story of destruction and survival. And the elegant script sent shivers down the spine, each letter a work of art that spoke of dark intentions. Curiosity battled with apprehension as a trembling hand reached for the note, the air thick with anticipation. The paper felt strangely cold, almost damp, like the breath of a tomb, sending a chill through the fingers that held it. Unfolding the note revealed a single sentence, written in a flowing, almost calligraphic hand, each word carefully crafted. "The future is not set, but your path leads to darkness." The words seemed to pulse with a life of their own, a warning from the shadows. The words seemed to writhe on the page, a living testament to some unspeakable horror lurking just beyond the veil of perception, a glimpse into a world of nightmares. The recipient, a man named John, known for his stoicism and reason, scoffed at the note's contents, dismissing it as mere fantasy. He tossed it aside, attributing it to a childish prank, yet the words lingered in his mind, refusing to be forgotten. Yet he couldn't shake off the lingering chill that had seeped into the room. A coldness that seemed to cling to his very soul. A coldness that seemed to emanate from the note itself, as if it carried with it the essence of some ancient curse. As he tried to erase the image of the elegant script from his mind, the words echoed in his thoughts, a haunting refrain. A sense of foreboding crept into his heart, a dark cloud that cast a shadow over his every thought, a seed of doubt sown in the fertile ground of his fear, growing with each passing moment, until it threatened to consume him entirely. John paced the room, his mind racing with questions and fears, the note's message gnawing at the edges of his sanity. The clock on the wall ticked away the seconds, each tick a reminder of the inexorable march of time and the darkness that awaited. He found himself staring out the window into the night, searching for answers in the shadows, but finding only more questions. Determination and fear battled within him, a war of emotions that left him feeling more lost than ever. His hand gripped the note tightly, as if holding onto it could somehow anchor him in reality, a reality that felt increasingly fragile. In the reflection of the moonlight in his eyes, there was a glimmer of hope, a faint light amidst the encroaching darkness. John's silhouette stood against the window, a lone figure against the vast expanse of night, a man on the brink of an unknown journey. The note lay on the table, a symbol of the unknown future, a future that now seemed more uncertain than ever. With a determined expression, John resolved to face whatever came his way, the note's message a dark guide on his path. The room was bathed in moonlight, a sense of calm before the storm, as John prepared to step into the darkness that awaited. His hand reached for the door, ready to confront his fate, the note's words echoing in his mind as he took the first step into the unknown. The door creaked open, revealing the dark hallway beyond, a path shrouded in mystery and danger. John's silhouette stepped into the hallway, a journey into the unknown beginning with a single determined step. The note lay on the floor, a final reminder of the message that had set him on this path, a path that led into the heart of darkness. And so, with the note's warning echoing in his mind, John ventured into the night, the future uncertain, but his resolve unbroken. Days turned into sleepless nights as John tried to ignore the note. He buried himself in his work, seeking solace in the familiar and the mundane. But the words continued to haunt him, whispering in the shadows of his mind, echoing in the silence of his solitude. He found himself jumping at the slightest sound, his eyes darting nervously to dark corners, expecting to find something sinister lurking within. He started seeing things in the periphery of his vision, fleeting shadows that vanished when he turned to face them directly. Whispers seemed to follow him, disembodied voices that spoke of his impending doom. He couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of being hunted by something unseen, something malevolent. The once comforting walls of his home now felt like the bars of a prison, closing in on him, suffocating him with their silent menace. His friends and colleagues noticed the change in him. His usual cheerfulness had been replaced by a brooding silence, his easy laughter by nervous tics and a haunted look in his eyes. When confronted, he brushed off their concerns, attributing his behavior to stress and exhaustion. But deep down he knew that something was terribly wrong. The note, he realized, was not a prank, it was a warning. One night, as John lay in bed, unable to find solace in sleep, he tossed and turned, his mind racing with thoughts that refused to quiet down. The room was cloaked in darkness, the only light coming from the faint glow of the moon seeping through the curtains. Just as he was about to give up on sleep entirely, he heard a voice. It was soft at first, almost imperceptible, like the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. A mere whisper, but it grew in volume, becoming more distinct with each passing second. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere all at once, wrapping around him like a shroud. It spoke of things unseen, of hidden truths and forgotten secrets. The words were both terrifying and alluring, drawing him in, despite the fear that gripped his heart. The voice spoke of a figure, shrouded in darkness, who could see the threads of fate. This figure was not bound by the same rules that governed the rest of the world. He could unravel the tapestry of life and reweave it according to his own design. This figure, the voice whispered, was known as the Seer of Possibilities. The Seer was a creature of immense power, a being who existed outside the bounds of time and space. He was a harbinger of both fortune and ruin, a force to be reckoned with. The voice continued, describing the Seer as a being who sought out those whose lives hung in the balance, those poised at the precipice of greatness or destruction. He offered them a choice, a glimpse into the abyss of their own potential. The Seer could show them the paths that lay before them, the possibilities that awaited. But with this knowledge came a price. The Seer's guidance was not given freely. Those who sought his counsel had to be willing to face the darkness within themselves. They had to confront their deepest fears and desires, to embrace the unknown and the uncertain. Only then could they hope to reshape their destiny. John sat bolt upright in bed, his heart pounding in his chest. The room was dark, the only sound his own ragged breathing. He told himself it was a dream, a figment of his overactive imagination. But the voice lingered in his mind, its words etched into his very soul. He could no longer deny the truth. He was not imagining things. He was not going crazy. The Seer of Possibilities was real, and he had chosen John. The realization sent a shiver down his spine. He was being hunted, not by a physical being, but by a force that transcended the physical realm. The Seer had seen something in John, something that marked him as special, as someone whose fate was not yet written in stone. The choices he made from this moment on would determine his future. John knew he had to be careful. The Seer's whispers were a warning, a call to action. He had to confront the darkness within himself, to face the unknown with courage and determination. Only then could he hope to reshape his destiny and find the solace he so desperately sought. Driven by a mixture of terror and morbid curiosity, John sought out information about the Seer of Possibilities. He had heard whispers of this enigmatic figure, a being shrouded in mystery and fear. The more he learned, the more he felt an insatiable need to uncover the truth, no matter how dark or dangerous it might be. He scoured ancient texts, consulted forgotten tomes, and delved into the darkest corners of the internet. Each piece of information he found seemed to lead him deeper into a labyrinth of secrets and shadows. The Seer was not just a myth, he was a force that had touched the lives of many, leaving a trail of fear and fascination in his wake. What he found both terrified and intrigued him. The stories were filled with accounts of people who had encountered the Seer, each tale more chilling than the last. Some spoke of miraculous insights and fortunes, while others recounted tales of despair and doom. The duality of the Seer's nature was both a curse and a blessing, a paradox that John could not ignore. The Seer was a figure of legend, spoken of in hushed whispers and veiled allusions. His name was rarely mentioned aloud, as if invoking it could summon his presence. The legends described him as a being who could see all possible futures, a master of fate who could alter destinies with a mere thought. He was a collector of souls, a weaver of destinies, a being who delighted in the torment of mortals. His power was immense, his reach seemingly infinite. Those who sought him out did so at their own peril, for the Seer's gifts were never given freely. They came with a price, a cost that was often too great to bear. Some believed him to be a demon, others an angel cast out of heaven. His true nature was a subject of endless debate among scholars and mystics. Was he a fallen angel, cursed to wander the earth for eternity? Or was he a demon, reveling in the suffering of those who crossed his path? The truth remained elusive, hidden behind layers of myth and legend. All agreed that he was not to be trusted, that his gifts were a double-edged sword, capable of both healing and destroying. The Seer's prophecies could bring great fortune or unimaginable ruin. Those who received his visions were forever changed, their lives irrevocably altered by the knowledge they had gained. And now, it seemed, he had set his sights on John. The realization sent a chill down his spine. Why had the Seer chosen him? What did he want? These questions haunted John, driving him to the brink of madness. He felt as if he were being watched, his every move scrutinized by unseen eyes. The note, he realized, was not a warning. It was an invitation. An invitation to step into a world of shadows and secrets, to confront the unknown and face his deepest fears. The words on the paper seemed to pulse with a life of their own, beckoning him to take the next step. That night, John had a dream. It was unlike any dream he had ever experienced, vivid and surreal, as if he were living it in real time. The boundaries between reality and illusion blurred, leaving him disoriented and afraid. He stood at the edge of a bottomless chasm, the air thick with the stench of sulfur and decay. The darkness below seemed to stretch on forever, an endless void that threatened to swallow him whole. The ground beneath his feet felt unstable, as if it could give way at any moment. From the depths of the abyss rose a figure shrouded in shadow, its eyes glowing with an unearthly light. The figure exuded an aura of power and menace, its presence overwhelming. John felt a primal fear take hold of him, a fear that went beyond reason or logic. The figure beckoned to him, its voice a low, hypnotic rasp. "Come," it whispered, "embrace your destiny." The words seemed to echo in his mind, resonating with a strange, compelling force. He felt an almost irresistible urge to obey, to step forward and accept whatever fate awaited him. John tried to resist, but he felt himself being drawn towards the edge, his will crumbling in the face of the creature's immense power. It was as if an invisible force was pulling him, dragging him closer to the abyss. He fought with every ounce of strength he had, but it was a losing battle. He woke with a start, bathed in a cold sweat. His heart was pounding, his breath coming in short, ragged gasps. The dream had felt all too real, as if he had truly been standing at the edge of that chasm, facing the seer himself. The dream felt all too real, the seer's voice still echoing in his ears. He could still hear the hypnotic rasp, the words that had seemed to burrow into his mind. The experience had left him shaken, his nerves frayed and his mind racing with questions. He knew then that he could no longer hide from his fate. The seer had chosen him for a reason, and he had to find out why. There was no turning back now. He had to confront the creature, to seek answers and uncover the truth. He had to confront the creature, to learn why it had chosen him, to discover what destiny awaited him in the depths of the abyss. The path ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty, but John knew he had no choice. He had to face the seer, to unravel the mystery and find out what lay at the end of this dark and twisted journey. The encounters with the seer became more frequent, more vivid. No longer content with whispers and shadows, the entity began to manifest physically, appearing in John's waking life with terrifying regularity. He would catch glimpses of it in the reflection of windows, lurking in the background of crowded streets, its eyes, two burning embers, boring into him, stripping him bare. Each encounter chipped away at John's sanity. He became withdrawn, paranoid, his once sharp mind dulled by fear. The hallucinations intensified, bleeding into reality, blurring the lines between what was real and what was merely a figment of his tortured imagination. The world around him took on a nightmarish quality, the familiar becoming strange and sinister. He tried to tell others of his plight, but his words tumbled out in a jumbled mess, a cacophony of fear and paranoia that only served to push them away. He was alone, trapped in a waking nightmare, tormented by a creature he couldn't escape, couldn't comprehend. The darkness was closing in, and John knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that he was beyond saving.